biologically sound. There's
Emily
certain
is a
that you can
cracker
have all
chip.
your. My brain sometimes.
There's a lot of knows everything.
She'll figure it out.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sarah, can you read our mission statement?
The mission of the Marshall Public School District is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for success.
Thank you. Next item is approval of the agenda.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Jeff and seconded by Bill to approve our agenda. Any changes or additions? If not, I'll call for the vote. And that is approved. Our next item is a public forum. Anybody from the public want to approach the board? I do not see anyone. So our next item is a recap of our summer program. Welcome, ladies. The floor is yours.
Summer program just wrapped up. These guys did a really nice job running our programs this summer, so thought good time to come and give you guys an update as to what they did.
We'll give it a shot. Good afternoon, board members. I had the distinct opportunity to work with our Summer School 2024 session, and it was an absolute blast. So let's take a look at it. So our theme this year was Yeehaw. We did more of a farm approach with animals and agriculture, careers, anything that related to those areas. Targeted Services, the program that I work with, serves grades 1 through 8. We were at Southview this year, which was a fun new adventure for us. All kids were on this first level, so it was just nice for programming purposes. We had the dual playgrounds that allowed for both grade bands to be able to outside. The busing was wonderful, pickup, so it was a great opportunity. So thank you for letting us use Southview. We had a typical schedule: breakfast, recess, language arts, math, writing, social studies, science, SEL, and fun. these were what our enrollment numbers looked like. We had 15 sections in June with 17 teachers and 3 aides. We were serving 193 students. In July, we had 11 sections, 13 teachers, no aides, and then 122 students joined us in July. So our numbers always kind of fluctuate down in July, but it's kind of a fun way to go out for all of the kids. We had many opportunities, again, to bring in fun things to interact with our students and make them engaged. We had the Bramble Zoo come from Watertown, South Dakota, that brought in 6 animals for the kids to interact with. You can see kids petting snakes and touching hedgehogs. They brought a skunk. I made sure it was deskunked, though. That was good to go. Then we had the opportunity of having Sam Jens with the Lyon County 4-H program with us again this year. He does a phenomenal job of helping program for what we're doing. So here, the kids did a ration study with carbohydrates, fats, proteins, minerals, vitamins, used different food pieces, talked about measuring and how a farmer would go about knowing what the animals need to be healthy, and made a little trail mix to learn all about that. Then he came back for germs, and they did some kind of, I didn't get to attend that day, but they poured water into another cup and were showing how easily germs can spread. So if they got an infected cup, it looked like clear water to them, but really when they mixed something with it, it turned a color. And then they just talked about how networking and things like that really can bring germs upon us. And then they also did the glow germ activity where they put the little lotion on their hands, try washing them, and then look under the black light to see the places they missed. Then Mr. Williams and Beth Ritter gave me a contact with Farm Minnesota this year, and that was a really neat opportunity. It had a database of over 4,000 activities our teachers could pick from. I had great reviews of teachers enjoying those options. Part of it was this Farm Camp Minnesota, so our students in 5-12 had to do or 5-8 for us, had to do a pre-camp survey, and then they had to teach a lesson. We got to go on a field trip. Here we got to go to the Redwood Farms, which is Kat Deitz's farm here in Marshall. They got to touch all sorts of different animals, feed a baby goat, and just learn about farm operations and everything that goes into it. And then when they came back, they learned about careers and did a little farm study, and then had to do a post form survey. There you go. And so that was a great opportunity. We got a transportation grant through this Farm Camp Minnesota, so it was a great opportunity for our kids to get out and going without charging us anything. That was fun. So they only do typically a 5-12 programming piece, but I asked about our younger students, and so they came up with something else for our kindergarten through 4th grade kids. So they got to go to the Olson Organic Farms in Cottonwood, Minnesota, and just look at some machinery, check out how they go about distributing the food for those animals, and then of course peek in on what the animals were up to. We had the soil company, soil health specialist for Minnesota with the Natural Resource Conservation Service. Her name was Stephanie McLean. She was awesome with the kids. She knew how to engage with them. These were our 5th through 8th graders who, sometimes are needing a little extra jive. So she brought in this rain simulator. They saw how the foliage on the top of soil helps runoff and not runoff, things like that. They talked about soil health. It was just an awesome opportunity for our kids to have that. And then the last day we had Sam bring in the dog agility group from the 4-H and just showed us kind of how the animals interact with those pieces. And then we checked out, of course, the Lyon County Library's petting zoo. So that worked well in us. And then the last thing here was just, these are 5th graders. They grew some beans, and this was through that database I shared about. They grew the beans outside and then brought them in and did some measuring. And then our 8th graders did a simulation where they had a certain amount of money and land, and they had to plant crops and harvest them and things like that, and to send it to market and use long division and all that good stuff to figure out how much their crops produced for them. So that was my programming. Any questions about the wonderful time we had?
Awesome. Thank you, Emily, for all your work with that. It's a fun program.
Thanks, yeah.
So then we jump into high school, the high school credit recovery. We don't get to do quite the fun hands-on stuff. We're really focused on students earning the credits of the classes that they missed. This year in our 9th through 12th program, we had 74 students enrolled this summer. That was a little bit lower than in years past, which is a good thing, because hopefully that means that students are passing their classes during the school year. Just looking at some of Brian's reports over the school year, we saw that more students were in his quarterly check. We were seeing that those percentages were up, so it makes sense that our numbers were a little bit down. We did have 10 out-of-district students, which is pretty typical. We usually have anywhere from 8 to 12 that come from one of the area schools. And then we only had 5 in our work experience this summer. Originally, we had more signed up, but just as we started to get to the end of it and the numbers and them turning in their stuff, they just didn't engage in the work experience like they normally do. We did have 148 classes that were taken this summer, and 128 of them were passed. So this summer with our program, we had about an 86% passing rate in adding classes to kids' graduation requirements. We did try to focus on the requirements for most of our required classes that they were missing or that they struggled in. That just helps them open up more real estate when they get into further in the high school career. We were able to help a couple seniors finish off a few classes as well, so we had some that also graduated, which was exciting. This year it was held here at the middle school. It was a great opportunity for us to be just a little bit different space, but we definitely missed our high school space. That comfort level, the kids kind of came in and we were trying to figure out how to wrangle them, but after the first few days, we got it all figured out and it went really well here as well, I think. So very successful summer school program again this summer.
Hi, I'm Nancy. I coordinate the ESY program, which is the extended school year, and that's for our special ed program. Basically, when our kiddos, we have a break, such like at Christmas time, when they come back, if it takes them longer to regroup or get back to where they were before they left on the break, then they meet the criteria for ESY. So then we bring them in the summer and work on those specific goals or those specific skills that they fell back on or they need more help with. This year we had 2 groups. I had a group K through 4. They were housed at Southview, and the 5th through 12th grade were housed here at middle school. T. Brenner was the teacher for my K through 4th group, and Julie Kent was the teacher for our high school or 5th through 12th grade group. 6 students at Southview, and I had 7 students at here at middle school. So for a total of 13 students, 9 paras, and 1 nurse. And it worked out nice that we were in these 2 buildings because with 1 nurse, she was able to go from building to building. We had some of our higher needs kids that she needed to give direct services to. So that worked out really well. She was able to go back and forth. So some of the skills they work on were like self-help skills. A couple of the older students need some help with their communication, like just initiating those communication with others and staying on that topic. They were served breakfast and lunch. I was able to get over to Southview and kind of sit in on the session there. T would work with the students individually, and then she had activities prepared for the paras to work with those students individually and just kind of re-teach or kind of reinforce those skills that they were working on. So that was really fun. And she even had sent activities home. Hopefully parents worked on them with them, but it was a really good year again this year. And my numbers fluctuate from year to year, so it's based on how the kids are doing in that particular school year. Thank you.
Thanks, ladies. Any questions for them?
I do. Are all the kids in summer school there voluntarily? Mostly because they choose to, or are they sometimes recommended to it?
In the 1st through 8th grade program, teachers refer, and then registrations are sent home, and then the parents can sign up. So it's voluntary in my program.
Okay.
Voluntary, but driven by at-risk students.
Sure. Yeah. Mhm.
And for it's IEP driven, so if that's written in their IEP that they qualify, and ultimately the parent can choose not to send them for various reasons, but it's
Okay.
IEP driven.
Yep.
Yeah, all of the programs we give them the opportunity, here's a way to get caught up or to help you not lose that progress. And then families can ultimately decide whether or not yes or no.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for your work.
Appreciate it.
Next item is the consent agenda. I'll need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Sarah Runcie and a second by Anne Marie to approve the consent agenda. I will call for the vote. And that is approved. Next item is approval of the bills for June and July.
Motion.
Second?
Motion by Jeff and seconded by Sarah Runcie to approve the bills for June and July. Any further discussion? Any comments, Sarah, or anything? Or? If not, I'll call for the vote. And they are approved. Treasurer's report. Any discussion or comments on the treasurer's report? If not, we'll move on. Board forum, any reports from the board or updates?
Community Services Advisory Board met last week. We introduced our student rep, Trina, who was approved at this meeting in the spring, so that was really great. I encourage everybody to come out for Sounds of Summer. They are doing a big kickoff for the Aquatic Center, which is the next big project. So that'll be at 6 p.m. Over in the Schwann's parking lot where the new pool will be built on Friday.
Friday at
the
6.
23rd, right? Yep. Sorry, thank you, Matt. So that was, that's really been fun and interesting, and it's going to be a good project for our city.
Thanks, Sarah. Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on to our administrative report. Jeremy.
Back to fall programming and administrator reports, kind of give an update of what's going on. All the administrators share some hiring updates, just overall, let you know that we're getting really close to having our positions filled this year. So we've had some good hires this summer. Looking forward to getting people on board and getting to meet everybody. Early childhood report, she talks about screening. They actually had their first screening day today, and then throughout the year, screening takes place 2 times a month. Early childhood screening is needed for public preschool, kindergarten, and first grade. Recommended at age 3, and we screen in the areas of height and weight, vision, hearing, cognitive development, health history, behavior, and just an opportunity for parents to ask questions, get resources, that sort of thing, talking about that transition to school. There's no charge for early childhood screening, but anyone who has questions about the screening should just contact the early childhood office, and we can help them get connected with that. So it's an important piece of getting started with school. Parkside, Darcy shares that their site leadership team has met a couple times over the summer, continue to meet in the coming weeks, just working through that continuous improvement plan, looking at their goals in reading and math and social emotional areas, and looking forward to this upcoming school year as we focus on the training with the READ Act that's going to take place. That's the OLA training you'll hear us talk about a lot during this school year. Training is going to help teachers just become more knowledgeable, confident, and competent in providing literacy instruction that aligns with the science of reading required by the state. At Southview, 2 different sessions of summer school. They talked about that was the first time at that site. We kind of rotated around this year so that Parkside, that's had the summer programming, and the high school has had it every year for the last few years, get a year off so we can do some deeper cleaning in those buildings. So then Southview and middle school had the programming this year and worked really well at those locations as well. Southview is entering their 2nd year of BAR implementation. Primary focus this year with BAR at that site is going to be implementing the U-Time activities with Fidelity. So they started some U-Time activities last year, but going through just how they schedule that and how they pace that through for the whole building for this year. All of the teachers at Southview, except for PE, music, technology, and SEL, are going to start the OLA training. Just like the Parkside ones, it's part of that READ Act requirement. It's professional development that's provided through MDE. For it's state mandated. The focus is helping teachers integrate evidence-based reading instruction. A lot of work, but they're also looking forward to that this year and just how it improves instruction and student learning. Math team at Southview this year is also working on better aligning classroom assessments to see what students are going to see at the MCAs at the end of the year. So doing some specific focus on that, looking at depth of knowledge within the questioning they use, and continue to use IXL at that building. You've seen in Pete's reports over the last year, looking back at how they've used IXL and how that's guiding student learning in math. They're going to continue to do some work with that this year with Pete and Amanda at that site. Middle schools has a few changes she highlights. They've had an expansion with the FACS program, so sixth graders are going to get FACS this year. That's new. Eighth grade is going to get some additional Spanish courses, looking at also a Spanish course for native speakers that will be different at the middle school this year. Some additional opportunities in reading enrichment intervention in 5th and 6th grade, and some math enrichment in 7th and 8th grade. And they've reworked some of the teacher schedules, get some common prep times for teachers to accommodate the bar meetings that are going to be taking place this year. That's a piece of that implementation. Along the lines of bar, she shares that they had 40 staff members trained late last week on bar at this building. That went really well. Teachers are really excited about implementing some of those pieces for the school year. Middle school also shares that the open house is scheduled for Tuesday, September 3rd from 8 until 4, and parents with questions can reach out to the middle school office about that. High school, they share the high school first day of school is Tuesday, September 3rd. On that day, 9th grade students attend an orientation program. 9th grade orientation is led by Link Crew leaders. That's been ongoing the last few years. It's been very successful. They're junior and seniors who have been trained to guide 9th graders into that transition into high school. Other students will attend class meetings and mini sessions for each block. So each grade level has like a staggered start during that day. Last May, high school students completed the advanced placement testing through the College Board. It's the same company that administers the SAT college entrance exam. Students who score a 3, 4, or 5 on that AP test will get college credit at most colleges and universities throughout the United States. Students did very well last spring, and they saw an increase in students testing, an increase in the number of exams taken, and the percentage of the students who scored a 3 or better. It's the highest increase they've seen in 5 years. So in his report, Brian has some additional data about that I encourage you to look at. At the ALC and CTI, the overall construction at ALC is complete. We have a celebration with that. We moved in last week, so everything is over at the new site. Looking forward to coming up at a future meeting, getting you guys over there and walking through that. It's really, really coming together well. We have a few punch list items that need to be completed before the students come in September, but the construction company BCI is making sure they're completed by then. Site's looking really great. Network is up and functioning. The phones now ring over there. Crews are getting cameras and some final technical items installed. And we have plenty of time before school starts to finish up the things that are left. Staff have some days here now, some time to come in and set up their rooms and get everything set together there now that things are moved into the new location. One thing that is missing right now is the AC is still being finalized. So while they have time to work, it's warm over there right now, but we're getting that. That should be any day now that will be finalized up and going too. With the CNA classes at CTI, the equipment has been ordered and much of it has arrived. Rest of CTI is looking great and looking forward to improving and expanding CTI programs for next year. Current enrollment, this is exciting at CTI. We have 76 students enrolled in CTI programming this year. So some good, strong numbers with those programs. Activities, Mitch shares that August 12th marked the first day of high school league fall sports. Exciting times as all the teams have returned to the gym and the field of Marshall High School once again. So you get to the high school and it's busy. It feels like we're getting back. He also shares that marching band, Mr. Peterson and the crew have hit the ground running with a fall show. Practices started there on July 29th. They're looking for some additional volunteers to help the Pursuit of Excellence. So anyone listening or parents interested in helping out with Pursuit of Excellence, that's on September 21st. There's some links to sign up on the program's Facebook page, or you can reach out to the high school and talk to activities department about more information with that. Beth shares in her report this month that we have 18 new to district licensed staff members who are attending workshops starting tomorrow on Tuesday the 20th. New staff are going to partake in numerous activities and trainings this week, preparing for this school year. We're really excited to get them in here in the morning. Also excited about next week with our all-staff workshop. We are welcoming the Pillsbury House Theater and their Breaking Ice presentation. That will kick off our theme of One District, Many Voices. That presentation is next Wednesday. All staff will get opportunity to attend some breakout sessions throughout the day, learning from multilingual learner student panels, American Indian educators, a community partners panel, and a game show on how to not press your luck that our legal team is putting on. So looking forward to those. Rest of the week is spent in the buildings preparing for the new school year. Jackie shares in her report that special ed assessment teams had a busy year. She gives some summary information of evaluations from last year. We track that data. It helps us plan for the future and looking at how special needs population is increasing or decreasing each year. This past year, we did experience a fairly significant increase in number of students eligible for special ed services. Over time, those numbers will translate into larger numbers in the pre-K-12 system, which will create some concerns in finding both certified and non-certified staff to meet the needs, as well as the fact that space, equipment, materials become additional needs as there's more kids as well. Mary Kay's committee, she shares the American Indian Parent Advisory Committee, the APAC, held its first 24-25 meeting last week. The goals for the year are going to be determined with follow-up from results from last year, some data, as soon as that's all available. A committee is looking to recruit new members, so anyone interested in joining the APAC committee should reach out to Mary Kay at the high school and learn more about that. She also shares that in her role as the assessment coordinator that the testing calendars for each building are complete. Testing calendar is posted on the district website, or will be soon, as directed by the MDE. In Trisha's report for operations, busy summer in the district. She transitioned in and picked up on some projects. Did a nice job picking up on those things. The middle school theater project is coming along really nicely. Seating, wallpaper, carpet, AV, and lighting have all been installed. So there's some final touches to happen, but we are planning on using that theater for our workshop week next week. This will be the first year, and as long as I can remember, we've had workshop at the middle school, just because we want to show off some of the projects that have taken place at this building this year. At the ALC, she also shares that it's coming along well, and we have moved in. It's set up and ready to run. A building grounds department is busy completing last-minute preparations as well before students and staff arrive very shortly. We just want to take time to thank them for their hard work and dedication, making our facilities the best they can be. Very proud of the way the facilities are looking. They've done a nice job. Jill and Trisha also met with a group at the Adult Community Center recently, where they shared information about crossing guards, substitute custodians, and or assisting with mowing the lawns, looking for recruiting some help that's needed there, especially with the crossing guards, we have some open things there. So just trying to recruit and find people interested in helping out with those pieces. Finally, in Sarah's report for finance, she shares that Marshall Public Schools has again received MASBO's Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting for the fiscal year that ended in 2023. The award represents a significant achievement and reflects commitment to transparency and high-quality financial reporting. So I want to thank the team in our office for their work on that and achieving that award. Sarah also shares the team has started working with audit work papers for the upcoming audit with Hoffman and Probst. She's going to be working through with them on that piece. It's a big undertaking, but that will kick off very shortly. That's everything I have, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Jeremy. Our next item is, let me get to it. The first review of policies 514 to 521. Any questions or discussion on these? Hearing none. Our next discussion item is the Certificate of Excellence that Jeremy just discussed. So congratulate the district office on all the finance people. So Sarah, you can pass that along to your people. We appreciate all the work that they do. Action item approval of the employee handbook.
So move. Second.
Motion by Bill and seconded by Jeff to approve the employee handbook. Any discussion?
Sure, this is the annual update for this, and honestly, just the shuffle of things changing this summer. It didn't get done in July with the other handbooks came to you, so it's been updated to match things for this year. No significant changes in the employee handbook. The biggest thing we worked on was the just with the leave time and all the changes with that have taken place, but everything is consistent with previous handbooks.
Sounds good. I'll call for the vote. That is approved. Next action item is approval to enter to an agreement with SWDC and Taher to provide meal service to the SWDC ELC in Marshall.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jeff and seconded by Sarah Runcie to approve this. Any further discussion?
Sure, this one is for at the ALC building. We're upstairs, ELC is downstairs. Taher is providing our meals for that. And at their previous location, the Redwood Falls District had provided meals for them. So we've been talking about this agreement since we looked at the building. This will just be the formal agreement to provide food service for that location. Taher will be doing all of that.
Very good. I'll call for the vote. That is approved. Next action item is approval of the correction to policy 707. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by myself and seconded by Jeff to approve the correction to 707.
So I'll share on this one. The board recently approved this one. I think it was probably the last board meeting. And after it was approved, we caught in there that when we opened Southview, the transportation previously was kindergarten through second grade. But when Southview opened, we had expanded that to fourth grade. So it was a Southview building and the policy never got changed to the correct grade levels. So in practice, we've been providing through fourth grade. Just the policy needed to be updated to reflect it and we missed it.
Okay. I will call for the vote. And that is approved. Our next action item is approval of the tuition agreement between Marshall and Lakeview.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Bill and seconded by Anne Marie to approve the tuition agreement with Marshall and Lakeview.
I'll share with this one. Lakeview approached us last week. They had a couple of students who were looking to take some advanced level math classes. With some staffing changes that Lakeview had, they were not able to provide those courses at their school. Knowing that we have the class, they had students interested in joining that for us. If we had spots, we've worked with the high school. They do have room within the classes to take these students on. So to make that happen for these two students, we need the tuition agreement. So I'd like to suggest you approve that.
Will those students attend those classes in person?
Yes, they'll be coming to Marshall and attending. It's two advanced level math classes. It was AP and maybe a trigonometry.
And they provide their own transportation. I take
Correct.
it.
Yep. And Lakeview did approve this morning at their board meeting.
Okay. I will call for the vote. And that is approved. Our next meeting will be on a Tuesday, September, that's the 3rd? Third.
Yep.
3rd, at 4:30. You think we'll go visit the ALC then, or?
We've got it scheduled. I don't remember if it was that one or the next one. It's one of the upcoming ones. We've got
Sometime
on
in
the calendar.
September, we're
Yes,
gonna
we'll
go
get there.
visit the new building, so.
First day of school, too.
That is the first day. of
Well,
school.
at the high school.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Great.
All right, if there's nothing else, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Matt.
You.
Thank you.